Finally, a normal temperature spring day, 72. Look at that, 37 last night. I think the record low for last night was 35. It's been cold. It's been very, very cold. Well, I guess the first order of business for today is to get some fans. We're going to use my original Lasco 3733 today, which I just repaired. Needed a new switch. I'm going to get a second camera. I think I'll use the Sony camera. Well, no, I'm not going to use the Sony camera. I'll just use this, I'm going to use the Ghost Pro camera because I want that wider view. I have to fix the window here as well. I'm going to throw that in as part of the fans running today. So I'll get that little tripod out and use this other camera. What the heck is that camera? Here it is. Okay, I have to go into the garage to fetch a lubricant for that window track, because that window track is busted like everything else around here. See how long this is taking just to put a fan in the window? Everything just takes forever around here. And there's nothing I can do, but I'm going as fast as I can. It's quite warm in the sun. Feels nice. I have to mow the lawn again soon. It's freezing here in the garage. I'm going to put this fan on in here. Get some heat in the garage. It's only 60 in here. Cold. Okay, we're going to use, for this window, we're going to use the Belaster spray for garage doors. the image stabilizer is not shut on. Now it's shut on. You always got to check because sometimes the equipment is not set up right and then the production gets ruined. Finally, it's warm enough to use some fans. It is 72 degrees out, which is a more reasonable May temperature. We're going to begin with putting this Lasco 3733 in the window. This is my original one from 1999, which I just repaired a few weeks ago. And speaking of repaired, I've half repaired the window. Last night I repaired the handle, so that's not wobbly anymore. But this is still very difficult to move. So we're going to spray some B-Laster garage door lubricant in here. And this, from what I understand, is a dry lubricant so that when you spray this on a track, you don't end up with dust sticking to the track because the lubricant is sticky. Can usually do this without making a total mess, but well, that's the biggest mess I've ever made doing this. At least it was on video. I think there's something busted up about this this window frame. This is really just a temporary patch. Something needs to be done about this to fix it correctly. Ouch. But this will last a few weeks at least. I can see at the top here where it's just scraping up against the metal, and it shouldn't be like that. But it's an old house and it's messed up just like the people inside it. So this is what we're stuck with. Okay, that's better than it was. Now I'll wipe off the excess. I wonder if some kind of a grease would be better on the top. I think the top is where the most of the problems are. And there's actually metal fragments here from whatever's going on. That's much better than it was. It's still not the way it should be, and it probably never will be. Oh well. This is at least usable now. It's just this one and the one to the right side of the door that's busted. This is the handle I made for this thing back in the 2000s when the original handle broke. And although I have spare handles now, I'm not going to replace it because the nostalgia is to it being this way. What the heck is up with the cord here? Alright, so this should now be working properly. I'm going to start with high. The sound of summer. Let's see if medium's working. It's not. Low is fine. We're going to use it on high for now. Get as much of the warm air in the house as possible. It's very warm out here. Feels nice. It's not a lubrication issue, I don't think, as far as the medium is concerned, because look how freely it's spinning. And it's normal on high and it's normal on low, so why just medium? Medium is not the speed with the lowest amount of torque, it should be low. I don't get it. And this one was fine. This one was fine up until this year. I used it a lot last year until the switch broke and it was fine. So something changed as it sat idle for a year or so, which just doesn't make any sense. Somebody said in the comments, it's copper and laminations, how could it change? Yeah, I don't know. I agree with you. I don't understand what changes, but something changed. So yeah, it feels nice having the warmth coming in. Oh no. I got more plaster on the table. I had to clean that up. That'll ruin the finish on the table. I think next time we're going to try some kind of a grease. Might last longer than this does. Oh, that's good. Now the table's going to be all slippery. Okay, now that we've got that fan running, I want to put the deck back together so we can maybe have lunch out there today. Not going to be home tonight, but we can enjoy the deck this afternoon and open a few more windows. So I have now, let's see, I have this, I think I have 4 of these 3733s now. So at some point, I'll have to get all 4 going in here. Because I have this one, I had the one from my grandfather, I have the one I found at the thrift store recently, and then I had, which is severely yellowed, and then I have that new old stock one. So yeah, I've got quite a few of these now. One of the most nostalgic fans in my collection. I've had this fan across, let's see, 1 to 4 houses I've lived in. 5, depending how you look at it. We've had this fan. This very one. Let's go downstairs and clean this, and I can put that table back together. I gotta finish cleaning this up. Oh gosh. This thing is driving me nuts. I don't know what this is. I bought it because it had a string of vintage Christmas lights on it. I wanted the lights. But this just, it serves no purpose. It's been kicking around the room here all over the floor for months. It's a fall hazard, it's a tripping hazard. Okay, now I can get to the sink. Shut on the water. I'm hoping that some melamine foam will clean this right up. It's not. There's the staining on the other side. Some of it is. Interesting. Well, it's going to look a lot better, but those rust spots I can't seem to get rid of. I have to get some kind of aggressive cleaner for that. Part of the problem is I can't tell what side it's on. Or maybe I'm cleaning the wrong side. Let me try a new piece of melamine foam. I think there's some soap on that one, and these things interact kind of funny with soap. Oh, that's good. The sewage pump is working properly today. Yeah, this one's not taking it off either. Well, there's just going to be some rust stains then. Looks a lot better than it did anyways. Not that that's a high bar, it looked pretty bad before, but yeah, it's a free table from the trash. Take what you can get. I think this sink has become a little bit askew. The grit keeps pooling in the corner here, and it shouldn't be. Now, this is not as clean as I was hoping for it to be, but it is at least a little more presentable now. I bet these rust stains are from that solar lantern that was on here. Or maybe it was like that when we got it, I don't know. It doesn't make any difference. Listen to that sound. Super nostalgic. Now let's see if I can get this thing back in there. I think the textured side goes down. It came out pretty good. There's some holes in it, but that aside, it came out pretty good. Getting this in here was or out of here was a problem, so I suspect getting it in here is going to be a problem as well. I don't really remember exactly how I did it. No, that wasn't so bad. Well, I suppose these should be cleaned as well, otherwise we're going to be doing a halfway job, which is no good. Why is this all sticky? What the heck? I gotta clean this off with goo off or something. This is not even usable, it's so sticky. Well, that's a little bit better. We might need the more stronger one, the goof off, I think it's called, which is not surface safe. Oh, that's good enough. I can at least use this now. For heaven's sakes. I don't really remember how these went on here. I'm gonna need some type of tool to get that in there. One of these hooks just broke. You can't keep up with it. Something breaks every time you fix something. Everything you fix, two more things break to compensate. It's nuts. Yeah, I don't really see these going back in place. There's probably some kind of tool that is used for this, which I don't have and don't know of. I'm afraid this is going to break the table. That's not really in there the way it's supposed to be at all. Now, nothing heavy goes on this, so I'm not too concerned about it, but nice to get it at least somewhat back to the way it's supposed to be. There's no way I'm getting these back in there. I don't have the right tool. They're just breaking. Now, I have a feeling this might become a problem when the sun heats this up and these things get softer. It's so important to always have the right tools for the task. Otherwise the task will fail like it is right now. That one I got in place. But something has changed here and it's not actually grabbing the... It's not actually holding the... Did I put this in upside down? Is that part of the problem? Oh man, this is so cracked and screwed up at this point. Actually, will that work to our advantage? This stinks. This totally stinks. After all that, I don't even have a working product. I wonder if we can get replacement pieces for this. Or worst case scenario, I'll just hot glue it. This is not... It's not going to work. I can't get these back in there. What a stupid design. I don't think this is going to last. I think this is going to fall apart again. And at that point, we'll just put it to hot glue. Seriously? Yeah, that's useless. Well, I guess this is a semi-fail of a table repair. There's no way these are not flexible enough. I don't know if these were like a soft rubber originally. That could be, to the point where they would flex enough to be able to get pressed in there, but whatever they were, they're not now, so they're useless. This is not going in the way it's supposed to. Well, it's not going to hold anything heavy, but it's back together for the moment. I'll have to fix it with hot glue. That's stupid. These chairs need some pretty serious repair as well, these wooden chairs. These were over here last year. And they're nice chairs. They're just falling apart. This one is pretty much completely gone. I don't think I can even use this one as is. To replace a couple boards on this one. The main problem is this board right here is not secured to this anymore. So we got to replace that, and it looks like this board is rotted away too, so we should probably replace this board also. And this piece is generally okay, but probably going to go the way of this one too. So a lot of boards to replace on these chairs. It's not exactly the way it's supposed to be, or anything remotely close. Well, we'll just put it for now, and eventually somebody will fall, and then we'll fix it. And the person that falls will probably be me. So I guess I'll get what I had going. We gotta wash this hose off. This is gross. We'll clean that with some melamine foam. Some other day. I'm not gonna do that right now. Just can I pick this up with the heat? Go quick. Yeah, that's hot. That's very hot. Whew. Okay, I need to clean up this laceration hazard over here. The busted light bulbs. I have to put the camera over here, otherwise it'll overheat. We'll get an Orac vacuum, of course. restoration hazard resolved. Close the recall. Put the vacuum away, and I think it's time to make some food. And I should put in a few more fans to get some of this warm air drawn down. It is freezing downstairs. It's cold in the whole house, but it's even colder downstairs. Alright, this is looking in a pretty decent condition now. That's cleaner than it's ever looked before. This stuff is for the garden. It does not belong up here. Lots of rust chips from the fireplace up here. That fireplace is going to need a new, some new parts. Oh man, that's too long. I have no use for this now. That stinks. Alright, this is coming together pretty well. I'm going to set up some more beans. I'm going to use this fan today. Oh, why didn't you throw those out? Because now I have a use case for them. But I need a saw. I need a saw to be able to make this work. I forgot to grab the saw. I have a screen door similar to the one upstairs for the downstairs door here, but I don't trust it unattended because I feel like a squirrel or something could just walk right underneath it. Maybe I'll get a better door for there someday. So what we're going to do with these is we're going to cut these to length and use these to fill up the space under here so that the fan will properly generate the static pressure to push the air out the window. Because right now all the air would just recirculate right back underneath here. So let's make a couple cuts to be the right size. I'd rather not use this stool for projects, but this is the one that's in here right now. Okay, so we'll cut it right here.
Why don't you just cut one big piece? You're taking too long.
Well, because if I use different fans here, which we will, we'll be able to add or subtract these to get the right height that we need. Alright, so that's the right width. We're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4. If I had clamped it down, that would have worked pretty good. I'm sure we'll get some rude comments because I used a manual saw as opposed to an electric one, but manual one works just fine. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go in here and I'm going to get out a drill bit, 2 drill bits, and we're going to make a keyhole slot into each side, and then we're going to put some screws into the window frame. It's very dirty. And we're going to use these the screws, so the larger portion should be that size. And the smaller portion should be the size I'd like is not really here. That's probably fine to use that. Oh, I do have clamps down here. And they actually open big enough too. Unreal. So we're going to make one large hole. stinking knot. Okay, and then we're going to make a small hole right below it. Okay, now we're going to move over to the window. And we're going to screw in these pieces. And then we're going to fling a screw across the room. Hopefully that got caught on camera number 2. I think it did. That stinks. Because of the way this is designed, we can now just easily take this off, which is important for being able to open and close the windows. So we're going to add the rest of these now. Okay, that is set up nicely. Now we have to get the fan set up nicely. The side curtain on the right needs to be opened up a fair bit more. And we're going to need the cord. Okay, the side curtain has been opened. Oh boy. That was almost catastrophic. That was close. Alright, it's not the best fix up on the face of the planet, but it'll get the job done in a pinch here. As the season progresses, and if we use this more and more, we can kind of do something better, but for now, that'll work. Okay, we're gonna go to, I want exhaust out. There we go. Let's not wreck the place in the process. This is a really nice quiet unit. I could even use this while I'm working down here, it's quiet enough. And this one also, once I get that one set up, is also very quiet. Try the high. I already feel a considerable amount of air. Even on high, it's pretty quiet. Runs pretty smooth. I think that grass is moving from the fan. Well, we got 63 degrees down here. That should climb now as that draws the warm air from upstairs down here. Okay, now that we're warming up downstairs, let's get these tools put away. I'll vacuum the carpet, and then we'll get some food. And I'll put a few more fans on upstairs too. Kind of spinning the meter today, but we're not going to be using fans for at least a week. I don't think. Hey, even on high, that's really tolerable. I'm not sure if I could record video with it on, but if I'm just working in here, that's a super reasonable noise level. Well, it's a good fan. That was, I don't think it was free, but it was like dirt cheap at the fan meet this past year. It was another one of those things that just didn't sell, and I don't understand why. I didn't recognize the person that I bought it from. But if you happen to watch these videos, well, I'm enjoying the fan quite a bit. Very nice unit. Now we're not going to throw out any of this wood this time either, because maybe we'll find another use case for it later. I'll put this back up to high. It's taken 167 the watts, 1.83 the amps, power factor 76. It's shaded pole, but it's doing a fair bit with the power it's taking. I feel quite a current coming down the stairs here. Gonna leave that door open for just a few minutes. I don't see any squirrels or anything right nearby. Let's get on in the garage now. Yeah, lots of air coming down the stairs. $64. It's already going up 1 degrees. Alright, let's get some of the food after we get some of the fans in here. Breaking out something we haven't used in a while here in the kitchen. Actually, I don't think I've used this one since I've lived in this house. Now, Lamont likes this one because it goes counterclockwise. And it just barely doesn't fit in these stinking small windows. This is such a nuisance. This is a pretty good little fan. It's got some force to it. Not an ultra force though. Still has a lot of force. Now let's put this one in the media room instead. I want to put another 3733 in here. This particular 3733 is the one I acquired most recently, which I got at the a local thrift store. So these are still showing up even around here 25 years later. This one is not in the best of condition, but it's still present and it's still got plenty of life left in it, and we're gonna keep using it. Uh-oh. This one was locked up when I got it, and it seems like it's locked up again. This is what happens when things sit idle, they stop working. That's supposed to be the high. Hopefully once the bearings warm up in a couple seconds, it'll start running. It's pretty cold downstairs still. So that might be why it's so stiff, or part of why it's so stiff. I guess I'll have to clean and service the bearings again. Yeah, this might not free up. It's just gummed up oil in the bearings, I guess. I thought I cleaned it up pretty good, but I guess not. Alright, it's coming around now. Alright, we'll go with that for now. It doesn't sound the same as the other one does, and I think it's because the blade is all screwed up from the sun. That's running strong now. Now this rice, I bought at the other grocery store, and the last couple of times I made it, I was not happy with the way it came out. It came out very soggy almost. I like rice to be very dry, so I'm going to add less water this time. See if that solves the problem. Added a little bit below the recommended amount. Let's see what transpires. That one sounds very different in here, the 3733. This one is the one that's nostalgic. I forgot I had this. It's not super long, but it might be helpful for getting pictures of the fans running in the windows from the outside. Now we're going to do some work outside. We've got a few branches that have fallen and can't get up. And then we've got a few branches that are hanging in the trees that we got to get rid of. All dead, rejected branches. It's kind of a gross task. Some of these branches are slimy. This has been needing to be done for several weeks, but I wanted to wait for the water level to go down a few inches. It's easier to do it now. Okay, that was the easy part. Now the difficult part is getting these branches out of the trees. This tree here on the left is starting to reject some branches, which is a little concerning, but it's not leaning towards the house, so I'm not going to do anything about it until something happens naturally. I've spent a lot of time cleaning this place up since I've lived here, and it looks a lot nicer now. It's a lot less polluted. Okay, I'm gonna get that's a big branch. It's gonna take some time to cut through that. I'm gonna get the pole saw loppers and see how far we are from being able to reach this. I'm hoping we can just use the smaller ladder, but I don't know. This pole saw is not very long. My grandfather has a vintage one that's much longer, but I don't have that one here right now. I have this one, so we have to make do with this one. I gotta get this garage cleaned up and get tired of it being a mess like this. Okay, got the pole loppers, and I'm gonna grab the telephone, this way no one calls and disrupts this, because if I don't bring up the telephone, somebody will call and it'll get disrupted. That's the way telephones work. I gotta show some pictures sometime of what this looked like initially back here. This whole property was so bad in terms of the condition of the landscaping. Yeah, I do need to mow the lawn. Huh. Trying to see if there's anything else we gotta prune back here. I don't think so. Everything's looking pretty good. All right, so here's the hole loppers. Actually, this might be a little bit better than I thought. Yeah, we'll be able to use the short ladder. Okay, so we've got two things to take care of here. We've got several dead branches on this smaller tree. And we'll deal with those first because I'm probably gonna get wet doing this, and it's warm enough right now that I don't mind getting wet. I'm not gonna want to be getting wet in a little while. Is that in the frame? Hopefully. Okay, this branch has been rejected. I don't know why. Oh man, the sun's at a bad angle for this. Now there's a dead branch that fell that's caught up in here. So we're going to switch to the loppers and try to grab it. Okay, I've got it. Slightly cut into it and then see if we can lift it up. And I gotta get a little bit more length. Just need a few more inches. That should be good. Let's try again. Got it. That doesn't weigh anything. That's been dead for a while. All right, what else we got? This whole tree doesn't look very good. I think we're going to prune a bunch of stuff off of it in hopes that it'll put out some new growth this year. There's another part of the dead branch that fell right here. Let's get that out of there. Branch here is dead, so we'll cut this off. I guess I'll have to chip all this up afterwards. There's a lot more than I was expecting. Is this branch fully dead? Yes, it is. Nothing good on there. What else is gone? That branch is dead. Can we reach it though? Barely. See if we can use the lopper on this, it's a little faster. Part of a dead branch here.
just barely hit it with the top of the saw. See if I can get it down. There it goes. Cancel that out of here. Oh man, the rope got wet. That branch is dead, but I can't really reach it. This branch I can reach. Cancel this one.
Well, that was kind of dumb. I plugged the camera into an extension cord and didn't plug the other end of the extension cord into anything. So naturally it ran out of charge because a blank cord doesn't offer any power. Duh. Good to know. Multiple dead branches connected to this. Still pretty deep over here. It's about 6 or 8 inches deep. All right, what else is gone? I think that might be everything we can reach within reason. I see one more. Actually, there's 2 more things we could cut off. One more I can reach. The other I'm not sure. There's a dead branch hanging right there, but I can't get it. And this branch looks to be completely dead. Yep. Cut it off. Cut it off here. These cattails are moving over into places I don't want them to be. No, that did not relocate well. Sometimes you can just pull these up and move them. Other times not. And this time not either. Cattails are invasive. Too much of cattails is too much. Just gonna pull out these ones that are blocking the view here. The rest can stay. Okay, that should be all the wet work that we have to do. I got the small ladder now, and I'm gonna try to deal with these two branches on this tree. One of these is pretty big. It's gonna take some time to cut through it. I can't get to the ladder. I've got to clean this up. I'm cleaning it up tonight. I'm sick of this. This is ridiculous. This is nutty to have the room like this. Completely dysfunctional. Okay, I got the ladder. It was easier than I was expecting, but it's still not the way it should be. And the squirrels dug up a bunch of the Pachysandra today, and that's nice. Thought we were done with that, but I guess not. It's back again. I covered it for a while, and that seemed to stop the problem. But not anymore. Alright, so this we have to really try to control where it falls, because I don't want it to land on these ferns. And it's right above the ferns. So we'll try to do a good peel cut on this one. Should be done with the lopping aspect, so I'm gonna tie up the lopping cable. Oh man, this is really going to take a long time to cut through this. And the wind is no longer working in my favor. I'll have to move to the other side then. Now the wind is working in my favor again. And it's cutting, it's just going to take a long time. Let's see if I can move the ladder a little closer. Okay, this is better. Get out of here, stupid. I've only about an inch through it so far. And we're about a third of the way through it. We'll get there. We're approaching halfway. Okay, the branch is starting to move. That was not the result I wanted, but it fell perfectly. Did not touch anything. That could not have gone better. It's a pretty good sized branch. Not rotted at all. Alright, one more. And then we're done with the trimming for today. Hopefully that was in the frame. This spot here on the tree is definitely a little concerning. But a lot of people don't realize just how much rot a tree can have and still be sturdy. This should go a lot quicker. Oh, I can barely reach this one. Okay, it's going to be more difficult. That's not going to work. We have to get the bigger ladder out for this. We'll be okay here. Alright, we got the same predicament here with the ferns. This is just about ready to go. That's what you call a peel cut. So it's cut enough to come off, but there's still a bit of the bark holding on, so it's controlled. So now we can come over here and just yank it off and not have to worry about the ferns getting damaged. There we go. Okay. One more piece, which is already broken off. It's just hanging there. That's a hazard, a fall hazard. I'd like to get that down if we can, just so it doesn't fall unexpectedly on me at some point during a windy day. This might be a operation that requires the taller ladder. That's pretty well caught. There we go. Yeah, I safely directed that away from the ferns as well. Lots of experience with trimming. It's not as simple as people think. There's a lot of techniques to it. All right. That is everything I wanted to trim off. So I guess now we'll get the chipper out and we'll chip up what's able to fit inside the chipper. And then we'll have to slice up the logs for canceling. There's not much to chip here, it shouldn't take too long. That looks much better now. Those dead branches are quite an eyesore. chipper is stuck. I have to get another cord because I need the other cord for the camera. And we can use the chips over here, so we'll just set it up over here. Lots of mullein plants over here this year. This stinking outlet here is full of bugs again. I don't know how to stop that. Those two leaf blowers sounds like a stinking Holmes HAWF 2021. Ground is very soggy here, so we'll just dump all the mulch here.
that in there, it should be able to come out, you know?
Okay, all the chipping is completed. I'm sure people are going to be making fun of the machine because it's some, whatever cheap brand and not vintage and whatever, and that's all true, but it's been a good machine. I've cleared this entire property with that unit, and it just plain works. It's slow, but it wasn't that expensive, and it does a good job. So now I think we have to get the chainsaw out for those larger pieces. I'd prefer not to use the chainsaw near the water because you get the oil on the ground, but I guess I'll try it with the electric thing first, the reciprocating thingy. And if I can't get through it with that, I'll have to use the chainsaw. But I'll try to avoid it if I can. Find the best blade of the junk here. Now one of the batteries is charged up, one of them is not. I have to charge up the battery for the leaf blower. I'll do that now too while I'm in here. I have a feeling this is not going to get through it, but we'll try, because it would be much better ecologically. This poor area back there has been polluted enough over the years. It looks so much better back here just from cutting those couple of branches out. I just spotted one or two low-hanging ones over here that I want to get rid of. I'm going to just do that right quick now, while I have the waterproof boots on still. Actually, there's several branches over here that we need to get rid of in the ground as well. One. Two. I guess we have a little more chipping to do. Three. Four. That's fine, we can always use the mulch. It's an interesting formation. Looks like there's a carpenter bee there. keep that. I think that's interesting. I think that battery was not full. I think we used that one yesterday for the wire brushing. Okay, that's all taken care of. Gonna go cancel all this out now. Okay, that's all been canceled out. Now we just gotta spread those new chips and then we're done back here for today. I do have to do some work on the computer, which I think I'm gonna do on the deck. And then I might try to put some landscape lights back here. That was the other thing I wanted to do today. Get the rake. Okay, good. That was reused. Here's that interesting piece. Just put that there for now. All right, let's get everything cleaned up. And then I think we can probably do that, do the landscape lights tonight. It's gonna look really nice to have those on them all along the path. I had a little piece of foam up here. Here it is. Which I jam on the bottom here with the cords to try to close the gap so the bugs don't go in there, but I don't think that it's really succeeding. How did that become intertwined with that? I just saw it worked out just fine. It's not the fastest thing out there, but didn't put any oil on the ground. Never had that get stuck before. This is a very good saw. Nice and sharp. I'm not sure how much longer we're going to be outside. Unfortunately, the wind picked up considerably. It's about 65 degrees, which isn't too bad if it's still, but with the wind, it gets kind of cold. So, we'll see. I'm going to try to do some work on the computer. I got to set up a video and then I'll answer some of the comments if I don't get too cold. The foliage is really starting to come out now. Came out a lot more today. It's looking nice out here now. getting cold. Not good. I don't think I'm going to get to those lights tonight. It's getting too cold already. Spring has been a joke. And we're not going to get to May time soon. There's not a single day above 62 in the 10-day forecast. Not one single day. 62 is the highest. It's ridiculous this year. Okay, I'm freezing. You gotta go in. That stinks that it got windy. I would have been able to stay out here if it wasn't windy, but it's too windy. Too cold. I gotta close all the windows too.